Hi, welcome back to Christine's Home Affairs. It's another quick video today, and this is a hanging keychain wallet. So what we've got here is a clip at the top here. We've got a little booklet. It snaps open. You've got two places for cards on one side and another two places for cards on the other side. And on the inside, you've got an area where you can put your notes. I want to try these out in the shop, so I'm going to make up a few, see how long they take me, do a bit of a time trial, and then see how much I'm going to sell them for at the end. Let's get to it. All right, here's everything that we're going to need for this project. I've got two pieces for the card slots, and I also have some interfacing ironed to the back of the card slot fabric. We also have these two pieces, one's for the outside, the other one will be for the inside, and they also have interfacing ironed onto both of those. Just gives it a little bit of extra stability by ironing it onto both. I have two pieces which will be for the back of the card slots. This is the tab, and then we also have another scrap piece of fabric which will be the tab for the D-ring or the swivel clip that you might use. So it's up to you what kind of attachment you want to have on your little tab. So this is the split ring, the ring that you'd have on a key ring. I've got a small swivel clip and I've got a small D-ring. It really doesn't matter what you use. And that's all that we need for the fabric. The stabilizer that I'm using today is an iron-on cotton interfacing. This is about a medium weight, so it's just got some really nice stability without it being too thick. And here are all of your measurements. Let's get started. The first thing you want to do is iron your stabilizer to the back of your card slot fabric and to the inner and outer of your main fabric. And you'll also want a piece of stabilizer for the fold over flap. I won't be putting any stabilizer onto my little hanging tab. It's only a very small piece, so it doesn't really need anything. And our little strips for the back of the card slots don't need any at all. After you've ironed all your interfacings on, take your fabric for your tab. I've got a long piece of fabric here because I'm going to be making quite a few of these at once. So what you'll do is fold your fabric into the center and then fold it in again and stitch down both long edges. So we'll do that shortly. I'm just going to set that one aside. We'll take the fabric for our card slots. We're going to mark the lines for our folds now, and from the left edge you're going to measure 7 inches. Now I'm giving you inches here rather than centimeters because it's a little bit easier to make the marks for the folds, but I will put the metric conversions up on the screen for you. So the first mark is 7 inches, and from there we're going to make another mark 6.5 inches further along. You want to make sure your fabric is lined up on the edge there and that you have your lines marked in even positions. So that's our 7-inch line, and this one is 6.5 inches further on. Flip this over. From the same left edge we're going to measure 4 inches on the wrong side, and from that line that we've marked we're going to measure 6.5 inches, and repeat for this one. And on this side we've got 4 inches and then 6.5 inches further on. Now we can start folding. So with this line here we're going to fold that so that right sides are together, and we can pin that together just for now. And this one here we're going to fold as well so that you have right sides together. We will iron this shortly. And then we can flip it over and find the mark you've made here, and we'll fold that so that we have wrong sides together. Find the other mark. We'll also bring that so that the wrong sides are facing. And now that you've done that, you can see what's happening here is we've got this fold here will lay down over the top. The next one will lay down on the top. So you're going to have one flap here and another flap here. Line up your edges so that it's nice and straight. We can remove these pins. Before you press this, just make sure the edge here lines up and that each of your folds lines up as well. When you're happy with that, you can go and iron it. We have nice creases in the fabric here now, so what we can do is take this to the machine and we're going to top stitch these top edges here and also these two edges along here. Once you've done that, we can just go and secure the sides really close to the edge. Whilst I'm at the machine, I will sew down both long edges of the fabric for the tab. The other thing we're going to do as well is take the fabric for the fold over flap. It's got our stabiliser already fused to the back. Fold that in half and we're going to sew down both long edges here. We don't need to do the bottom edge at all. So we'll do that, those two and the tab. Let's start with the tab. So I'll just start at the top, back stitch and go right to the end. Flip it over and repeat for the other side. And then we'll do the card slots. So we'll top stitch with all the other fabric out of the way. And just on the very edge, I'll just do a small stitch on each side. Now that that's done, we want to trim this back so that they're the same size as these two pieces, which are 3.5 by 5.5 inches. So all we need to do is just trim this. We've got the top opening along here, line those up, and if needed, trim it off at the bottom so that they both measure 5.5 inches. So just a small amount off and grab these two pieces and we're going to place these over the top here. Now when we put this together, it's going to look kind of like a book. So if we grab that fabric, that will lie like this, and we've got to have nice neat edges on the inside here. So take one of your pieces and place that over the top, and the other one will go over the top here, and we're going to sew this side only. So both inside edges are all we need to sew up for now. Let's go do that. The seam allowance for this project is 1/4 inch, and I'm sewing with the stabilised side up because I'm using that edge as my stitching guide. Just double check that you've actually got the right sides stitched up. So when you fold this over, we'll have a nice neat edge here, nice neat edge on this side, and that will be in the center. And what we can now do, bring that fabric to the back, iron it, and once you've done that, you can go and top stitch. So we have the fabric folded to the back, which will enclose all the raw edges over here. And we'll repeat for the other one. All right, we've got the edges neatened on the inside edge here. I want to clip the corner of my tab, and I'll turn that the right way out. Now, I forgot to mention we need some little plastic snaps. What we're going to do is place a snap on here and also onto the outer piece of fabric. If you don't have access to snaps, then you can use Velcro instead. So you can go and place a piece of Velcro on here and another piece of Velcro onto the right side of the outer fabric. For the tab, fold it in half to find the centre and then measure in 2 centimetres or 3/4 of an inch. Grab an awl or something to poke a hole and we'll pop a hole in through there. Place your cap over one side of the tab and then your other little bit on the other side. Press that together. And what we're going to do is grab the piece of fabric that you're going to use for the outside. I think I like that one better. We can take our tab and we'll centre that on the left hand side. So I'm going to fold that in half and that one, and I'll line up the raw edge with a fold along here and then find the centre on this side and we'll mark 2.5 centimetres or 1 inch. We'll pop a hole in there as well. And what's going to happen when we turn this over, this flap will come around and sit like that. So that means that we want the end cap to come in from underneath, and then we'll grab the other side and place that over the top, and we'll squeeze that together as well. We'll set this aside for a moment. Take the piece that will be on the inside. We'll grab our 2 card pockets, and the sides that have got the finished edges will be facing the centre. So we'll line that up to have your card slot with the raw edges on the outside edges. Make sure you've got the back piece of fabric nice and even. Then we need our tab, and whichever one of these rings that you want to put on. I think I will use this one, the theory being that it will clip onto absolutely everything. So if you have a little tab hanging in your bag with a D-ring, then you can clip that on in your bag, or you can clip it onto your keychain. But likewise, you can do the same with this one as well. We'll place this tab with the raw edges facing the top section. It doesn't really matter which side you put it, but this will close over like that. So we definitely don't want it in the centre. Might just place it at the top there. I'll quickly go and stitch that in place, and I will also stitch this tab in place as well. So the tab's fixed to the back fabric. This one is fixed to the middle, and what we can do now is take this and place that right side down over the top of the pocket pieces. I'll start here, go all the way around, come back to here. I'll back stitch at the beginning and the end, leaving an opening along the bottom. I might make that a little bit bigger. So that's about 3 or 4 fingers width at the bottom there. What I'll also do when I'm sewing this is, as I come down to the corner here, I'm going to come to the corner, I'll back stitch 2, come forward, then as I come around here I'll go forward 2, back, and then forward, and keep on going, and I'll do that on each of my corners. There's a lot of bulk here and I just like to make sure my corners are nicely reinforced. So I'll start off with a back stitch, go back for 2, forward, turn, forward for 2, and then continue on. And I'll do that all the way around. When I come to any sections where there's a lot of bulk, like the tabs or the folds, I'll triple stitch over those as well. And I'll back stitch here. And we're almost done. All right, let's trim our corners. And we'll turn this the right way out. It'll be a little bit bulky because we've got lots of stabiliser in here. Once you've turned it the right way out, poke out all your corners, even the fabric out on the inside of the pocket, so you can push any bulk here to the inside and over to the corners. We have our opening at the bottom here, so you'll want to fold over the layers of fabric so that they sit to the inside. And I'll actually give this a really good press before I go and top stitch. Once I've done that, I'm just going to sew all the way around all 4 sides. And then we're finished. I'll start top stitching from the bottom edge. That way I can catch all those folds first. So there we have it, our little foldable card holder, all finished. I've gone and made a couple of extras, and I've remembered to put my shop labels on them as well. In here you've got plenty of space to put some cards, and on the inside here you can go and pop some notes, and there's plenty of room on that side as well. It's a very handy little card and note holder. So what do you think? We have a few little keychain card holders. Once you've worked out the folding, they're actually really easy to make. So lots of storage space in here for business cards, your credit cards, and even some notes. You could probably even use this as some kind of a small travel wallet as well. Would have been handy when I was in Tasmania last week. So I want to sell these in the shop. I'm not sure how they're going to go. I've made 3 of them to begin with, just out of some scrap pieces of fabric that I had or some older offcuts. And they took me between 25 and 30 minutes to make, but I know that I can get them down to 20 to 25 minutes if I was making a huge batch. So given that, I think I'm going to try and sell these for $15 each. The fabric didn't cost me anything, so my only expense is the little swivel clips. They were only a few cents anyway. And the snaps and my labels. So there's less than $1 worth of purchases that I've made. The rest of it is all fabric and stabilizer that I've managed to acquire for nothing. So I'll try them at $15 each. If I had to use fabric that I'd purchased, I'd probably add an extra $5 to it. I think I'd actually get them in the shop, especially if I had a themed fabric. I'm not sure, but I'm going to give these ones a go, and we'll see how they sell in the next coming months. Now, most of you know that we have a Facebook group called Christine's Home Affairs. The link will be down below in the comments and in the description. I love waking up the next morning after I've released a video and seeing just how many people have actually made what was in the previous video. So come on guys, challenge is on. Who's going to get these done by the time I wake up in the morning? I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I shall catch you next time. Bye for now.